So along those lines, since we'll talk about, I'm going to squeeze into sort of the book review. I wanted to go over it. It didn't take that long, but I wanted to go over it because it was a really good book, and that I just finished. I am reading another one, so once I finish that, we'll have another one on that. If anybody has any ideas for, writing topics or book reviews, let me know. Still haven't gotten Discord set up. Maybe I'll do that today just to get it done. And so I don't always have to say, I'm going to get it done. So the book I'm reading, I just finished. It was called The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor. Hold on, I got it. Happiness Advantage, Shawn Achor. And it's a really good book. And it talks a lot about, like what makes you happy. And so I've been sort of going through that right now, and trying to figure that out. I have been recently laid off, and I've been having, odds and ends with jobs, but I'm trying to figure out what it is that really makes me happy. And so this book really didn't exactly tell me per se, but for me, at least for me, it acted more as like a guideline. And how can I use some of the principles in here to really look at myself and figure out how can I determine what makes me happy and then go after it. So what they do, it's funny too, is I actually was given this book by an old boss, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, something like that, because Shawn Achor was the guest speaker at the symposium that we did. So he gave it to us, which is great. I may not have service for a bit. We are on an adventure walk at Esmont Park. Adventure walks are awesome. And I always applaud any walks and or adventure. That's always good to do. And it's something that I'm trying to do. Except I'm trying to get my walks in. Today I did a little different route, but it's just local. I live half a block from a park. So enjoy. But yeah, so the Happiness Advantage, I didn't read it a few years ago when I was given it, but I decided to pick it up now. And it seemed very apropos for what I am currently going through. So what Shawn Achor says in his book is there's 7 different principles. There is the Happiness Advantage, which is basically, if you continue to be positive, you will be happy. And one other thing about the book that's really great is it's obviously very conceptual, and it talks a lot about these things, being present in the moment and figuring out what you want. But what's also great about it is it's Shawn Achor brings up a lot of examples through scientific discovery and experiments, which is really cool. So there have been a lot of experiments on happiness and positivity. So he supports these principles and concepts with these scientific experiments. So sort of like I was saying, I was trying to merge my ideas together of project management and creativity in my book, but with what he has done is sort of merged two seemingly disparate ideas as well, which is the scientific and the conceptual of happiness. So they've brought the two together, which is I enjoyed it. So the other second principle is the fulcrum and the lever. And the idea is you have sort of a lever here, and then it's your balance, right? And then you have a fulcrum, and it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be in the middle. It can also be in this side or over here, but it depends on what you want to achieve, how you adjust the fulcrum, right? And then you go up and down. And then we also talked about is habits, and he called this the Tetris Effect. They did an experiment with some guy who was playing Tetris for 3 or 4 days, and then or maybe it was longer. Anyways, but then afterwards, what he did was he figured out that as you do that, you can, he would Tetris different parts of his life. So it became an automatic habit. So what the book is talking about is how to create your own habits and good ones so that way you can move forward. So, and this is one of the reasons why I'm also doing this, right? I'm doing streaming is so that I can create better habits. You know, like we're going to write a little bit later on sprints, and it's getting me writing. And then on Tuesdays, we're writing a story together. And it's getting me writing, which is one of the habits I've been trying to be better at. And so now I'm starting to do that. And I'm making myself accountable to you guys. And that's sort of another reason why I'm doing this. Another concept that the book had, the Happiness Advantage had, is called following up, which the idea is you may fail, but as long as you learn from it, it's okay. And so it's almost like one step backwards, two steps forward. So you might go back a little bit, but then in the long run, you'll go further. So that's sort of where the concept is with that, is how do you, as long as you don't take the following backward to, you don't do anything with it. It's like, as long as you learn from your mistakes. He had another one called the Zorro Circle, which is based off of the Zorro movie with, I always forget this, Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins. And Anthony Hopkins was the older Zorro, was teaching Antonio Banderas how to really get really good within a certain circle, which is called the Zorro Circle. And what Shawn Achor is saying in Happiness Advantage is you can apply that concept to your own life. And what you do is you start small. You start a little circle, and then you get really, really good at that. And then you move forward, and you get a little bigger, and then you get a little bigger. But you don't go straight to the big, because then if you do that, you won't stick with it. You might not be as good. But this way, you have a good, solid base and foundation, which is awesome. The other thing is sort of similar to that, is he had a principle called the 20-second rule. And the idea is, so instead of, he had an example, and the example was somebody he knew, or somebody, whatever, was wanting to do a marathon. So she would train and whatever for, 6-7 miles every day for like 2 weeks. But by the end of the 2 weeks, she was injured. Because she just jumped in, and she did not, and lost motivation. So instead of sort of jumping in without, start small again, but you can make the change. You can make the change like 20 seconds of change, right? So you can, like if you want to do something, instead of saying, I'm going to do 5 miles, just say I'm going to walk to the end of the block and back. And then the next day, maybe do a block and back +1. I don't know. But it's like you sort of, the other part of the 20-second rule is to make things easier for yourself. So we have this tendency as humans to sort of go, there's something in front of me that only takes 20 seconds, but because it takes 20 seconds, I'm not going to do it. So reduce those inhibitors, or those 20 seconds, if you will, and then that will provide more opportunity for you to move forward and create better habits and be happier. And the last sort of principle that he had was social investment. It's the community. Belong to a community that will support you and that you can support. And that's one of the reasons why, again, I wanted to do these streaming, is because I want to create this community that really helps each other. And am I getting benefit out of it? Absolutely. Fully aware of it, but that's why I'm doing it. Is I'm a little selfish. I want that community around me, but I also want to help others. And so that's what Shawn Achor was talking about as well. So it's a great book. I think one of the biggest things I got out of it was it is really action oriented, and it has some things that you can really use to move forward. So I do have some nuggets that I'm going to share. And then, again, I would highly recommend it. I will probably send out actually I wrote it, a blog on about it. So I'll link, if you go to my website, you can, I'll have a link to the Amazon page, or just go to Amazon. I highly recommend this book. Oh, hi, Silent Willow. I'm reviewing The Happiness Advantage. Happiness Advantage. It's by Shawn Achor. It's really good. Basically, the gist is, what I was talking about, the gist is it talks about, what makes you happy in life and how to go after it. For me, I use it more as a guide, because it doesn't exactly tell you how to be happy, but it gives you guidelines. So that way you can, yes, it is sort of a self-help book, but what I liked about it is it's very, for me it works, because I'm going through this right now. But anyways, I'll tell you some nuggets, and then I will we'll probably just start getting into some writing. But I just really wanted to share this because I thought it was really good. And for me, as I'm going through this, trying to figure out what I'm happy and how to do that and to continue that, which a lot of it for me surrounds writing, I thought I would just share. But thanks everyone again for hopping on, and feel free to drop me a follow so you can see whenever I'm on. So I'm trying to set my schedule. It's, yeah, most of us are here for the writing. Getting to it for sure. So I will just do a couple nuggets then. So for me, happiness is a joy we feel striving after our potential. And so that for me is also about this writing, is how do we get our potential to go move forward. And again, the idea of this book is just to really try and move forward with things. So again, I appreciate you guys listening to me on the book, because I'm definitely really enjoyed it, and this is something that I really like. So I'd highly recommend it. The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor. Like I said, it's been helping me through what I'm going through right now. But also, the next book I'm currently reading is called Atomic Habits. I'll probably review that in a couple weeks. But for now, writing, right?